I'm J.G. Sandom. I'm a novelist, a lifelong storyteller, and the founder of a company called Cremstar, working to modernize how we care for people at the end of life. This series is called Last Things First, conversations about mortality, memory, and meaning. Let's begin. Recently, I attended a viewing. I watched a family lose their center of gravity. The matriarch had died, and you could feel it in the room, in the way people stood and the way they held one another. Love was everywhere. But I also noticed something else. I watched one daughter begin to carry the weight. Every family has someone like this, a keeper. Often it's the eldest daughter, sometimes another sibling, sometimes a son, sometimes even a close friend, but in most families the weight still falls upon women. Whoever it is, they're the one who's always taken charge, the one who knows where the documents are, who organizes birthdays, who smooths tensions, who remembers. When a parent dies, the expectation is silent but immediate. She will handle this. She will speak to the funeral home, feel the calls, make the decisions, absorb the uncertainty. And she will do it while grieving. Being the keeper is an honor, but it's also a burden. And here's the truth we don't often say out loud. When systems are unclear, when pricing is opaque, when processes are confusing, the burden doesn't disappear. It lands somewhere, usually on the keeper. March is often a time for reflection. The year is still young, but enough time has passed that we begin asking harder questions. Are we doing things differently this year? Are we improving the systems that shape people's lives? Or are we repeating them simply because they've always existed? Death care is one of the most essential industries we have, and for decades it has changed very little. Families still navigate confusing options, opaque pricing, processes they don't fully understand, at the very moment when clarity matters most. I've seen this pattern before. In the early days of digital advertising, people didn't trust the technology. They preferred familiar systems, even when those systems were inefficient or unfair. What ultimately changed that wasn't novelty, it was transparency. Clear information, user-centered design, the ability to see what was happening and to understand why. People gravitate towards systems that replace confusion with confidence, and in death care, confidence matters deeply. Because when a keeper is standing in a viewing room trying to hold her family together, she should not also be wondering whether the process behind the scenes is opaque or uncertain. Your loved one is not a transaction. They're priceless. And the systems that care for them should reflect that truth. Transparency isn't a feature, it's a principle. Transparency in cost, so families can see prices online, review a full general price list, and understand what they're paying for. Transparency in process, so they know where their loved one is, how they're being cared for, and what happens next. At Cremstar, we use RFID and GPS technology to track each decedent from the moment of removal all the way through to the final cremation. Not because technology is impressive, but because certainty matters. When families can see what's happening, when they understand their options, when there are no hidden steps, the keeper's burden lightens. Technology by itself doesn't matter. What matters is whether innovation creates confidence and dignity and peace of mind when families need it most. Innovation isn't just about new tools. It's about looking at old problems with new eyes. It's about asking whether the systems we inherited are truly serving the people who must navigate them. Because when death enters a family, love becomes visible. And the system surrounding that moment should protect that love, not complicate it. If this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to explore more about planning ahead, honoring memory, and making thoughtful choices for yourself and your family. You can learn more at Cremstar or Memory Box or Final Spring. And please carry this conversation forward with someone you love. Because sometimes the last things really should come first.